Buckle up and be prepared to have your socks knocked off if you make this. So this little jar right here is holding my mango habanero sauce. And stick around for the rest of the video if you want to see how I make this. But before we jump into how I'm gonna make it, let's talk about why I wanted to make it. So I originally wanted to make this because there is a dumpling restaurant just a little ways away from where I live. Not a little ways, it's like an hour away. But I absolutely love their dumplings, and part of the reason I love their dumplings is because they have a mango habanero sauce that you can dip your dumplings in there. And it is the best thing ever, and I have scoured the internet trying to find a specific mango habanero sauce that is made for dipping dumplings in, and I have come up short. And so I started looking up if there was ways to can a mango habanero sauce, because there's been some mango deals if you haven't heard about them from my other videos. And I found a video by Linda's Pantry where she makes this, and I wanted to try it out, and I'm definitely going to be adjusting it, but I'll talk to you at the end of the video about what we're adjusting and why. Okay, so for this recipe, I'm using Linda's Pantry's recipe, which I'll link below. So we're going to do a cup of white vinegar, a 1/4 cup of hot sauce, and then we're going to go ahead and after that hot sauce, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. So you can see me taking out my big canister of sugar, getting that all in the pot, and all of these ingredients are going directly into the pot. After the sugar, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of honey, but before I add the honey, I'm going to spray this tablespoon with a little bit of vegetable oil. That just makes it so the honey slips right out, and I think I actually show you that in this clip, where I pour the honey in, and because it's sprayed with that spray, it just slides right out of the spoon, which is really actually nice. I think that's a tip that I got from Linda's video, I'm pretty sure. So after I go ahead and add these 2 tablespoons of honey, next I'm going to add my habanero peppers. And these habanero peppers need to be de-seeded, de-stemmed, take all the membranes out, everything. All we're going to use is the shell of the habanero pepper. So there is going to be 5 habanero peppers in this recipe. So you can see me tip-tapping on all of those. And we are also going to add 4 cloves of garlic. As you can see there, I'm not very good at counting and added 5. That's okay. I like a little extra garlic. So after that, we're going to add our mango. So this is 4 cups of mangoes that I had pureed up and just frozen. And so you can actually use fresh or frozen mango for this, but I processed a bunch of mangoes a couple weeks before making this video and making this sauce. And so I just pulled that out of the freezer and let it thaw for the most part, and then we'll just heat it up on the stove the rest of the way. So once I go ahead and get all of this mango squeezed out of that bag, I am going to turn on my heat. I believe I do a medium-high heat, and we just want to bring that up to a boil. And then after that boil starts, we are going to turn the heat down and simmer for just about 10 minutes. Okay, and now I am going to blend this all up with this immersion blender so it gets super, super smooth. Make sure there's no chunks. And then we are going to actually can up this beautiful sauce. So I am filling these 1/2 pints with the mango habanero sauce, and we are looking for about a 1/4 inch of headspace. So you can see me using my funnel, trying to get that in there. And then I am going to check on my debubbler tool to make sure what a 1/4 inch of headspace looks like. And then I am going to, after I know that I've got the 1/4 inch of headspace correct, I am going to actually debubble the mango habanero sauce. So now I am just going to feel around the rim for any nicks, anything like that. there wasn't any nicks in any of these jars, any chips. So I'm going to dip my paper towel in some vinegar, wipe that rim, just make sure it's all squeaky clean. And then I am going to take my lid and my ring, put that on the jar, and once I've got that screwed on to fingertip tight, I am going to put that in the canner. And now I'm just gonna taste this mango habanero sauce, and as you'll see by my reaction in the corner of the screen, it is very spicy. So it's tastes delicious, but yeah, it's got some good heat in it. So I am going to talk to you about, at the end, actually, about how I make some adjustments to this. And now I'll just give you a cute little time lapse with some music of me filling up the rest of these jars, and I will check back in with you when we are at the next point. And now our mango habanero sauce has finished. Water bath canning. I water bathed it for, well, the recipe calls for 10 minutes, but I had to add an extra 5 minutes for my altitude. So I did a total of 15 minutes here in the water bath canner, just having that over a constant boil. And so I am going to remove the jars out of here and go ahead and put them on my counter just on this paper towel. And that is mostly so that I don't have any of the jars cooling down or being really hot on a cold counter, and then that temperature difference actually cracking the jars or anything. Here we are at the end of the video. So my mango habanero sauce has finished. They all ended up sealing, and they're in these beautiful half pints. So out of that recipe, I got 4 of these half pints, and then half of one that I kept in the fridge and I actually used in our meal that we had last night, where I actually mixed that with some of the mango chutney that we canned up in a previous video to make a kind of stir fry that we put over rice. It actually wasn't my favorite thing, but when I added a little curry powder to it, that brought it all together and made it sing, and it was delicious. But I am here to talk about this mango habanero sauce, so let me not get too off track. So we canned this up, and because there was some that wasn't going to fit in the jars, I saved some in the fridge, and we used it, and I tasted it, and I think you probably saw a clip of me reacting to tasting this. It is very spicy. So I think the recipe called for 4 habaneros, and that whatever it called for, it was too much. So I think next time when I make this, I'm probably going to take the habaneros down a little bit and cut back to maybe 3 and then try it, or maybe I'll even just do 2 and try it, or 2.5, I'll play around with it until we get something that we like. But for now, this is still really yummy, even though it's really spicy. So essentially what I think I might do when we open these jars and want to use it to dip our dumplings in, I think I am actually going to maybe mix it with a little bit of honey and or just something to kind of sweeten it a little bit to balance out that heat. I know some people have talked about, I think if your hot sauces get a little too hot or something, you can tame them down by adding some butter. So we might do that when we actually open the jars, add some butter right before we're gonna, like melt some butter in, right before we're gonna actually use it. But I'll play along with those, and maybe in a future video I'll update you on what actually happened with that and what we did. But I do really love it. I would recommend you doing it. And I'm so glad that you stuck around until now to watch me can this up. Another wonderful thing that we get to have, not on our pantry shelves, but in our cupboard shelves. So if you enjoyed today's video, please let me know what you would dip in your mango habanero sauce. For me, it was mostly for dumplings, but maybe we'll try it out on other things. But until next time, stay grounded.